Welcome to The Nurtured Woman, a podcast bringing you conversations from a wide range of guests, from medical and wellness practitioners to wine and culinary experts, fashion leaders, and other trusted field insiders. Join me, Michelle Droll, your guide, as we delve into topics that inspire you. Thank you to our sponsor of today's episode, Bleaches NC. Don't let dirty carpets ruin a first impression. Their expert cleaning leaves your home fresh, sanitized, and inviting. Mention the Nurtured Woman podcast for 15% off. Call 984-51-GRIME today. Today, we're diving into the world of real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or simply curious about the market, this episode is packed with essential insights. We're excited to kick off the conversation by highlighting the 5 crucial details buyers shouldn't ignore when touring homes, along with the little things sellers often miss that can make a huge difference in a sale. Plus, we're shining a spotlight on Troutman, the charming and up-and-coming town that's quickly becoming the hottest new area for home buying. Joining us today is Cristin Dorninger of Southern Homes of the Carolinas. With 11 years in real estate and 24 years calling the Lake Norman area home, Cristin brings unparalleled expertise and local insight. Welcome, Cristin Dorninger.
Good morning, Michelle. So nice to see you.
Great to see you too. Let's jump right in. Cristin, sellers put a lot of effort into listing their home, but sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest impact. What are some small but important details homeowners often overlook that could really help their home sell faster or for a better price?
Well, thanks for asking, Michelle, because I love to help my sellers prepare their homes for sale, and I want them to make a wonderful first impression when they hit the market. So first of all, we all hear about curb appeal, and yes, that's very important. But let's go a step further and talk about some little details you can do to make that first impression stand out even more. And that would be things like making sure your front door looks attractive with fresh paint, maybe new hardware. Maybe put out a new welcome mat, some flower baskets that are hanging or sitting on a table out on a porch. House numbers, often they look dingy or they're fading, so replacing those. And making sure that you clean your outdoor light fixtures so there aren't any cobwebs and that they look clean and have fresh bulbs so they're shining brightly.
And maybe even the mailbox too. Put fresh numbers on it, remove the mildew from outside the box. What else would you suggest to sellers in terms of putting out some effort, making the home look nice for when we have a walkthrough?
Well, when someone walks into your home, you want it to smell clean and fresh. So I recommend making sure that you don't have any pet odors or cooking smells. Those can be real turnoffs to buyers. By putting away your pet beds, blankets, food, that can help with that. And also staying away from using strong air fresheners or candles, because everyone might not like the scent that you think is pleasant. And sometimes people think you're hiding a smell when you have those on.
I know several years ago, when I was preparing to sell, I had my carpets professionally cleaned, and it made a huge difference, not just in appearance, but in completely eliminating pet owners. And we had a dog at the time, and let's be honest, buyers notice those things. You don't want stains or odors or anything that makes the home feel less fresh. It can turn buyers off instantly. And so that's why I always recommend professional carpet cleaning. It's an absolute must before you list. It's just one of the simplest and most affordable ways to make a home look and smell fresh. And it gives buyers the confidence that the home has been well cared for. In addition to addressing any lingering odors, I'd love to discuss the importance of dusting, especially on moldings. I've noticed that some homes have noticeable mold and dust buildup on these surfaces, which can detract from the overall presentation. Could you share your insights on how proper maintenance in these areas can enhance the home's appeal?
Yeah, there are definitely some hidden areas that you need to be aware of to make sure you clean. So, for instance, your blinds, they definitely need a good cleaning. The covers of the air filters, they are just a crap for dirt. The tops of fans, that's a big one. I've been in a lot of homes touring, and when we go upstairs and look
They're
down
fuzzy.
and you see that, it's a turnoff. I mean, nobody wants to see a coating of dust on top of things. So just making sure you're doing that. And then a couple other places buyers tend to look, because they will open cabinets and things and look, is your refrigerator. You want that clean and organized. Microwave, make sure that's looking
All
good.
the crumbs are
And
out of there, and the spaghetti sauce that's splatter.
exactly. And the range. Those are places that do stand out as well that people often forget about. So keep in mind that their eyes are going to be everywhere, checking out every inch of your home.
And we're so sometimes accustomed to our own messes that we don't recognize that they're there.
Absolutely. Especially in a place like a refrigerator. You're just so used to opening and closing it. You don't think, oh, if someone else looked in this, what are they going to see?
You need to bring your mom through.
Yeah. That would be a good
Let
idea.
her look through everything and let you know where you're sailing.
That's right. Absolutely.
When it comes to repairs and maintenance, what should sellers focus on to make the best impression without breaking the bank?
Yeah, I have a checklist that I provide, and it came from a home inspection company, and it just gives them tips on what to do and go around and check on. For instance, tightening loose knobs or hinges, making sure your faucets aren't leaking or clogging, fixing running toilet, caulk in bathrooms is an easy fix that a homeowner can take care of, changing air filters. Those are some of the easy fixes that you can go around, take care of ahead of time so that a buyer doesn't have to be worried about them.
So I know sometimes people have mixed feelings about personalization of the home. Sometimes when you walk in the home, I will see photos, and it doesn't particularly bother me to see a few photos of the family around. But what do you recommend to your clients?
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes it's nice to see who has lived in the home, but a few is different than having your whole house filled with your pictures, your artwork, everything that shows that this is your home when you want a buyer to visualize themselves living in the home. So I suggest putting most of that away, most of that personalization away, and decluttering, depersonalizing as much as possible.
Yeah, like the kitchen counters, making sure that there's just a minimum of appliances.
That's right.
We don't need the crock pot sitting there.
Don't have them stuffed with stuff. Don't have a whole bunch of hand towels out. You want it to be clean. You want it to be
your stainless polished, right? We don't want to see smudges all over.
Exactly. All of those things matter.
And the closets, because I know myself when I open the closet and I see things that are going to fall on me, I get turned off.
Closets and pantries and garages are all places that sometimes sellers think, well, this is where I can store my stuff and push everything in there for the meanwhile. But that's not a good idea because you want potential buyers to see that your home has space and room for their storage. So you really have to be strategic about how much you have in there and have things organized.
What about a pod or even getting a storage closet somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, pods are great for once you're under contract and moving out because that sits on your driveway. So it's not very attractive. But a storage unit is a great solution. We have so many here locally that you can easily get to one, and you can slowly move your stuff over to the storage unit while you're working on getting your house ready.
And it just opens up the space in the home and gives you a great feeling when you walk in. And that same feeling of openness and cleanliness shouldn't stop at the front door, right? There's also the backyard that we need to consider as well. We don't want to have a bunch of kids' toys out in the backyard with mold on them. We want to make sure things look tidy.
Exactly. Especially also not just kids' toys, but those patio sets that often get very worn looking and the cushions that have the mold on them. So you want to clean up those areas as well. Pressure washing does a lot for the outside area. You can pressure wash your driveway, your porches, your back areas. That just makes the home look so much more appealing, and replacing cushions on any furniture that's outside. You want to make sure that your landscaping is cleaned up with trimmed bushes and mulch or pine straw. The lawn is mowed. All of those things just make people pull up to your home and say, oh, wow, this is really beautiful.
On top of everything else that you've done around the home. It's a lot of work to get a house ready for sale.
It really is. It can take a long time, especially if you're busy with your family and with working and school. Yeah, sometimes it's in bits and pieces.
Okay, but worth it.
Yes.
Cristin, do you think it's a good idea that a home seller consider someone locally to stage their home?
I definitely am a proponent of staging because they can come up with such just great ideas for you with stuff that you might already have in your home. For instance, they can use your furniture and just maybe arrange it in a different way, or they can just give you suggestions on things to put away or small things to purchase, like certain hand towels or different curtains for a window. So their suggestions are invaluable, and they do have a range of options now where you can just do a consultation where they provide you with ideas to do yourself, to a small to a full service staging. So there are a lot of options out there now for different budgets or whatever you feel you need.
You don't have to buy these items, correct?
You don't necessarily have to buy them unless you're doing a small scale job and it's worth it to just purchase a few things by yourself. Yes, you can rent from them. You can rent furniture from them and accessories.
And they handle it all. They would come in like an interior designer. They would come in and
Yep. They have a staff usually, and they come in and do it all for you if you'd like.
We need to break for a word from our sponsor, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll be discussing the hidden red flags that buyers often overlook when searching for a home and how to spot them early. Expert cleaning you can trust. Is your carpet looking tired? Stains that won't budge? Smell not so pleasant? We've got you covered. At Bleaches and our IICRC certified specialists use state-of-the-art cleaning technology to remove dirt, stains, smells, and allergens from your carpets and upholstery, leaving them fresh, sanitized, and looking their very best. We take pride in long-lasting results with a meticulous approach that's safe for your family and pets. Exclusive offer, mention the Nurtured Woman podcast and save 15% on your first cleaning. Call 984-51-GRIME or 984-514-7463 to book your appointment today. That's Bleaches NC. Welcome back to the Nurtured Woman. Now let's dive back into our conversation. So beyond listing photos and home tours, what should buyers really pay attention to when evaluating a property? What are the hidden red flags that buyers will often overlook when searching for a home, and how can they spot them early?
Well, that's a good question and an important one, because usually when we go on a home tour or to an open house, they're looking at the prettiness and the flow of it and things like that, but they have to really keep their eyes open for some red flags. So for instance, you're not going to have a home inspection while you're doing those things, but just be prepared and looking around carefully. When you walk up, you're going to look at the roof, and from what I can see, are shingles peeling? Does there look to be any damage just from the ground up? Things like that. Just be aware. The HVAC system, how does the condition look from the outside? There are stickers on them. You can take a picture and look up more information about it, like its year of install or things like that. Plumbing, are there things dripping in the home? You can look under a sink or see a drippy faucet. Electrical, that's a hard one to check while you're touring a home, but if someone knowledgeable is with you, they could just scope out the electrical panel. We do have in North Carolina the residential property disclosure, which the sellers fill out before they list their home and does disclose any issues they know about. So if you're interested in a home, that is something that you would obtain and take a closer look at and find out more information on. Another important issue is to check if the community has a homeowners association or HOA, because they come with rules and with fees, and you want to know what's allowed, what's not allowed, because maybe something that's important to you has a restriction. So just something to be aware of.
So we're not always able to see a home necessarily at its busiest or at its worst. What are your thoughts about getting the real sense of the neighborhood and the surrounding area?
Well, I always suggest that if they're interested in a particular neighborhood or area, that they drive around different times of the day, different days of the week. So go on a weekday at school time, go at a weekend and see how it is. Check it out, see how the traffic is, how the noise level is, things like that that could change based on when, the time of day. So that's important too. And then also I always suggest, see how long it's going to take you to get to important places like work at different times of the day, so that you're just well informed and you know what you're getting into. Also, it's really important to check on future development that's coming to the area. I always suggest that you go to the town's website where they have planning department information, and you can usually get everything you need to know on there. These days, the websites are just full of information, and you can see upcoming projects, road projects, building projects. Again, just stay on top of what's going to be happening in the future.
So my greatest concern when I've looked at homes has always been the potential of past water damage. How do you evaluate that?
That's not always easy if you're just touring a home. It's something that if you get one of those red flags, you can have a specialist come and look for. But if you're walking around and you're seeing water stains or wood rot by a door frame, if there are musty smells, those are all things that should make you think twice about what's going on. Is there a drainage issue? Is there a roof leak? Things like that.
And there could be true a situation of they've repaired the roof but never repaired the ceiling.
And that happens a lot. A lot of times you'll find out they just put the roof on a year ago, but they never fixed the ceiling. So the old stain is there.
Water pooling on the outside, would that pose an issue to the foundation? I guess depends upon how far away.
Yeah. I mean, they always say if it's coming towards the house, that's not a good thing. So then that goes to grading and what may need to be remedied to make sure the water flows away from the home. If you happen to be there when it's a rainy day, you can see where water tends to pool, which is helpful.
Now, shifting gears a bit, while we've discussed making a home shine, it's important to address a challenge that's affecting many buyers today: rising property taxes and insurance. Locally, these costs have skyrocketed, and that extra expense can really catch new buyers off guard.
It is, and it's something they have to be well aware of when they're planning their budget, because oftentimes they think about what their mortgage payment will be, but they don't often consider that down the road, their property taxes and their homeowner's insurance will go up. I mean, it's just how it is. So you're not going to always stay at the same payment. You have to plan for the future of that happening, especially like what just happened in the Lake Norman area with those going up so significantly that people were panicking and taken aback by how much more their monthly payment was now going to be.
And also consider utility costs in the future.
That's right.
They never go
because-
backwards.
That's right. And things like gas may get more expensive. So there are all those costs that always go up. Unfortunately, they don't go down. So plan for the future.
Plan for and repairs and upgrades, prepare for that as well.
All that stuff that comes with being a homeowner.
I'm sure you've noticed how Mooresville's growth is really spilling over into surrounding areas. One town I know in particular is seeing a surge in popularity is Troutman. What's making this Lake Norman town the next hotspot?
Well, you couldn't be more right. I have been in Mooresville for 24 years and I saw Mooresville grow up. And I see that happening now in Troutman because they have some space left. There's room to build and grow. According to the census data, Troutman's population grew by about 55% between 2010 and 2020. So significant. It could be the next big place. Troutman has that small town charm. It's close to Lake Norman and it has easy access to I-77 where you can get to Charlotte or other places quickly. So it is becoming more and more popular. They have new home communities that are currently under construction. They have others that are approved to be built. And also in Troutman, there is waterfront. So there are waterfront homes that come on the market. And many times they're less expensive than in towns like Mooresville or Cornelius.
Does not have the Mooresville price tag.
That's right.
The benefit.
So there is a benefit there, a little bit more affordable. Couple of things I love about Troutman, they have the Lake Norman State Park. This is located on the shores of Lake Norman. Absolutely beautiful, especially in the fall. They have boating, fishing, swimming, hiking. You can camp there. And then they have a public beach with access to the lake where you can go and swim in the summer. So a really nice place.
So much for families to
so
get in
much.
the outdoors.
They even have educational programs and things like that. So definitely a great place for families to go and have fun together.
I could see the appeal of it for the future. Isn't there a biking trail or a hiking trail there?
There is. There's the Richardson Greenway, and it's a walking and biking trail that runs through town, and it connects to several neighborhoods and parks. And I've heard that the town has proposed to extend this greenway. They're trying to make things more connected and more accessible, provide more outdoor recreation opportunities for the people that live there. And then there's also this project called Wakefield Village, which is going to be a 774-acre mixed-use development. And it's going to have residential, commercial, all kinds of amenities. It's going to be built out over many years, but it's going to be a pretty massive project. So, and then a couple other things, just things that I think are interesting about Troutman. They have this amazing German restaurant.
I've been there. I know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, the schnitzel is delicious. It is the size of the plate. And it's just such a unique place because we don't have any other German restaurants around here. So that's something special about Troutman.
Yeah, I actually had a ladies' event there one night. It was a networking event. They did a wonderful job. One of my favorite places to go in Troutman is Devaste Winery. Oh, just wonderful. You've been there, right?
I've been there and it is beautiful, especially when the weather cooperates and it's a nice day to sit outside. They have perfect areas for relaxing, listening to bands. They have teas that you can order. They have snacks.
And get a flight and bring that out.
That's right.
You can set up your own little tables and put a little candle on it and listen to the bands while they play.
Right. And sometimes they even have food trucks. So just a wonderful local experience.
Absolutely. I agree.
And then there's this Chickadee Hill Farms where they hold weddings and events, and they have a great Christmas opportunity where you can go with your family and see trees and have a lot of fun.
So pivoting just a bit here, can you give us a local market update? How is it doing here in Lake Norman?
Well, Lake Norman is always a desirable location. People just love it here. We have so many nice towns and there's so much to do that there's never going to be a lack of buyers that want to come to our area. I was looking at some statistics and from last January to this January, and it says that new listings are up 18%. Days on the market is up a little bit. That's up 18%. So homes are sitting just a little bit longer than last year. And we have about a 3-month supply of inventory. So we have a few more listings than we had, but still a little bit on the low side with our inventory. But yeah, I would say we have a strong market and it's one that I never worry about there being a lack of interest in because it's just such a great place to live. And the word is out on Lake Norman. People from all over the country know about it and want to come live here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Why would they not, right? I always end the podcast with asking my guests to give us a bit of wisdom from their skill set. What would be your advice to give to buyers?
I would advise that you keep in mind that no home is perfect, but when you find one that's close, you need to make it yours.
Right. You don't want to have 20 years of regret thinking about the house that got away from you.
That's right. If your heart is telling you you found your home, go for it.
Okay. Because there's always ways that you can improve it if, for instance, the kitchen's not quite there or the bathroom doesn't have 2 vanities. These are things that can be fixed.
That's right. There's a lot that's fixable, changeable, style.
So just go with it. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of The Nurtured Woman. We hope you found our deep dive into real estate insights, from spotting hidden red flags to 5 things buyers shouldn't ignore when looking at homes. Big thank you to our guest, Cristin Dorninger of Southern Homes of the Carolinas, for sharing her expert knowledge on the Lake Norman market. Thanks again to our sponsor, Bleaches NC. Ready to give your carpets new life? Their expert cleaning removes stains and odors for a fresher home. Call 984-51-GRIND and mention the Nurtured Woman podcast for 15% off. Want to get your business in front of an engaged audience? Podcast ads boost brand awareness by 28%. That means more people remembering you. The Nurtured Woman podcast is the perfect place to share your message. We'll craft a custom ad and feature it in the middle of the show. Don't miss this chance to connect with our listeners in a meaningful way. Let's get your business heard. Reach out today to Michelle Droll at mdroll@lknconnect.com.